Oops. Hello everyone, I'm Henry Lee. Now I'm getting ready to carve a restaurant logo seal for Mall Yerevan. Yerevan is the capital of Armenia. Uh, and this restaurant is high-class restaurant in the capital. Um, I I will download the logo. It's on the left, so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, open that. Yes. There we go. Sorry for the delay. Okay. Here's the design, and we have made uh, several changes during the design process. I omit that. So basically, if you own a business and you will have a digital seal as well as a option for a physical one, you can order both or just the digital, because the design takes most of my brain and time. So I do have to charge for the designs. I cannot do the design before you pay for the order. So you can do it in two steps, like order the design if you like it, then order the physical, or you can do it together. So you get, everybody order the physical seal will get a digital copy first. So you have the chance to see the design before I carve. So if anything you want to change, we can still do that. So there's no surprise. That's the service that you get from me, not from anybody else. Because I was a digital graphic design for icon, design for several companies. So I'm familiar with the digital and as well as printing some. But I don't do a drawing program like what do you call this? We do only bitmap, not the other vector. What do you call it? I forgot the drawing tool. Um, my my daughter does that, but she's too busy to help me do that. So I can only provide the digital copy, which is more organic, I think. It's the line, it's a little rougher, but I like that because it's similar to the effect you actually get on the physical stone seal. As you can see, the design is on a guideline. The result will be different because this is sometimes unpredictable. It's predictable, but not exactly controllable. Like if I wanted the chipping or not the chipping, I can control a little bit, but exactly what chipping would happen, it really depends on the situation. So I will keep quiet now, just concentrate on my work. Hi, Hans. Yes, the capital city of Armenia. You know that country? Um, it's a fusion restaurant of Chinese and Uzbek. I think, if you understand the people there. Um, Chris, thanks for your question. How did I get interested in this kind of craftsmanship? Um, I was an archaeologist, and during my field work, I have opportunity to dig tombs of the Han Dynasty, like princes, and also the later periods, like the six dynasties in the disunion period after the Han Dynasty. That's my uh, main field. Archaeology in China has prehistory or history, so I'm his historical archaeologist. And I have the opportunity to study the ancient writing system as my part of my training. So I studied the bronze script, Arachobone script. This is the Han seal script. As I mentioned earlier, the bronze seal is a very yeah. I even found a gold seal, a cast gold seal. So it's very personal to hold it and then make a rubbing of it from the seal, make imprints from the seal. It's also part of my job, and also, before I studied archaeology, I was in uh, high school. I have a relative who carved my first seal, name seals, to use on my painting. And my teacher also commissioned other seal engraving artists to do the seal for me. In college, I have friends who taught me, my classmate who taught me how to do the seals. So I started to carve my own artist seals for my painting to use on my painting. And after I got here, I started teaching in University Extension, University of Washington. I studied in medieval Chinese history, and I taught Chinese brush painting there in the University Extension evening class, and I carved seals for my students. Has been a tradition, the painting student will commission me to do the seal for them because they see how I use the seal as part of the composition, which is very important part. And long story short, I lived in a dorm where there are many international students moving in and out. So when we arrived, I brought a whole bunch of my paintings, scrolls, but nothing, for clothing or, I have to buy everything, right? Some from free market, some just pick up from garage sales. And one of my neighbors studies Buddhism from India, I think, and he just moved out, graduated maybe from the dorm. So I picked up a whole bunch of cooking wares from him, and as a gift, I gave him a Buddhist image seal. I did a Buddha seal. He was so pleased, and uh, that's one of my first. If you go to my ebook, you'll find all these early works I've done, 300 of them, and since then I've done 200 more, I think. So now I'm in 500 something, I think. So I found that most master like Bada Sanren in the ancient time, in the Ming Dynasty, or contemporary artists like Qi Baishi, Wu Cangshuo, Fu Baoshi, they are all seal engraving artists to begin with, or Fu Baoshi is a seal engraving artist before he became landscape painter. Qi Baishi is the great master of seal engraving artist, and his idol Wu Cangshuo, the founder of Shanghai School painting, he was the best of seal engraving artists in contemporary art history, and his painting is greatly influenced by his study of seal engraving art. He used the knife he used the brush as knife, or knife as brush. It's the same, in Chinese art, we talk about the taste of stone and bronze, or antiquarianism. It's inspired from the rubbings of stone steles and bronze. So this kind of taste is really the soul of Chinese visual art. Chinese writing system is art itself. If I have time, I will go through some Chinese calligraphy, maybe talking about the aesthetics of Chinese calligraphy. So it's all here, like the line quality, something that has a look like the wood warm traces, or you don't want to show the sharp tip of the knife. You want to hide it, same as you hide the brush tip when you write a stroke. That's what makes difference. Because on bronze, all the stroke looks very dull, rounded. And we try to simulate that feel. It's tuck, the rounded up lines. So you spend a lot of time on these corners, on this end of stroke. The beginning and ending of the stroke has to be parallel. What do you call this? Dot. Not a side stroke. Side stroke. That means rough on one side and smooth on another side. So it should be like you see the design here. I try to make it to look like the bronze cast. It's kind of hard because the material is different, the process is different. But we use the stone as the media from Ming Dynasty on. The literati class, or the scholar amateur artist, become the leader in our art field. In the past, before Ming Dynasty, this is the job of the special craftsman. But this is not a craftsman anymore, since the artists doing it themselves, and they are calligraphers, painters, scholars, because you have to be very literal. Literati means the people with high education. Literati class in China. So some seals today you see on eBay, like the jade seals. I see a lot of those. They are not readable, basically. it's decorative, but not really calligraphic or even readable. So you have to really understand the ancient script, so you can feel the freedom. Because like earlier, I had this design in a different variation, and it looked like some other symbol the owner doesn't like. So I changed it because it's for me. It is our I have a lot of room to design because I know how to vary the writing system. If you are just a craftsman, you don't really know. You can just copy in the dictionary maybe. So there's a difference between scholar, amateur art and craftsman art. We call that art crafts. Just like you said, arts and crafts are different, right? I don't know if it's different in English definition. Crafts is like something you do it with some certain skill level, but not really creative as art. Art is more creative, original. Each one is different. Yeah, that's the main thing. So you cannot duplicate. That's art. Did I answer your question? Tang Dynasty. Yeah, that's also included in my field. My doctoral study covers Han Dynasty through Tang, the latest. I don't. That's a typical medieval history. Japanese art and culture comes from China. Since Tang Dynasty, they have seals received from the Han Emperor to the King of Japan, something like that. 韦卢国王印, the earliest seal is found in the Japanese king emperor's tombs, are same as the Han Dynasty. And Tang Dynasty, they have learned how to do it themselves, I think. Thank you. Yeah, that's a pleasure. If you see someone in the airport in China doing the same thing, they are craftsmen for sure. They use same character for everybody. They just really they are more skillful. I will say they might do better job in making it straight and smooth, that kind of thing, but not really. The nuance, right? The detail difference is very subtle. It's very subtle. You have to, in this field, really know the origins and I have good friends still online to critique my work, but I won't show that to public. But every seal I do, I get feedback from my Chinese friend, my classmate. Sometimes I ask them before I come. Sometimes I got critiques from them afterwards. So it's really a hobby kind of. Not just for the money. It's a hobby and something I love, and I like to share with my fellow artists with common interest. It's just so enjoyable, to carve seals. Qi Baishi has done that till he's 90 years old. So I wish I can do as many as long as Qi Baishi does. Some artists, they just do a few seals for themselves. not for others. Like Bada Senren did some very mystic seals. Nobody can really understand. It's a combination of image and the writing. Okay, each character has meaning. Although we translate that with a Google Translator for the place name. So I just did Mao. This is the last name of a Chinese famous Chinese family name. Ye is another uh, family name, but here is the meaning is leaves. And here's Li. Li is a place. Measure is like a mile. Li is a Chinese unit for measuring distance or land. A square, it means field. And earth under it. It has to do with earth. And you can see the corners I try to make is between square and round. That's the aesthetic of Chinese art. Square is like the structure, the principles. The round is the tactic variation. Sometimes, you see in Tai Chi, the movement is always with these two, balance of these two. That's the hard part, to make it between square and round. We call it squirrel, right? Squirrel. Art for the sake of art is artist, yeah. But sometimes I think it's half and half, I try to dance within the limit. I have to get approval from the client sometimes. So I have recently announced that I'm not going to take any painting commissions. That's for the exact reason I want to be artist and doing just art for the sake of art. Because if I'm doing something commission, they just, yeah, it's kind of hard to satisfy. But for the seal, it's exceptional. I do have to adapt to the needs of the client, the taste of the client. But sometimes I cannot satisfy them, but I do my best to be a craftsman as well as an artist. A craftsman make it like something like a shoes to fit people's feet. I think I would do that. This last character is one meaning warm. It's like cookingware with water. This is a water reticle, and this is the cookingware. Is it something in the okay. Okay. I think some artists they take commissions and they make this agreements before they do the commission. Number one would be um, pay first. Pay first, um, because we cannot refund you. You cannot refund the time I spent. Right, I have to pay, charge you first. Second is do not watch me doing it. But this, I'm completely different. I got excited when people are watching me, but not everybody. Like football, she would not allow people to watch him painting. Nobody have seen football doing his landscape because he wants to get drunk and then get really, uh, I don't know, emotional, or, just be free to paint. And the third is when I finish, take it, no change, no critique, no change. So that's something I read in the art history book. A French artist Chang, some I forgot the first name. Anyway, a Chinese artist in contemporary Chinese artist in France who made this three rules. So if you like his work, you pay first, and then he does it without you watching, and then you take it without any say. You take it, you don't have option to reject it or modify it. That's good. If I can have that, I may take commissions, but otherwise I don't do commission work for painting. I just do it for myself. I may consider the market taste, but it's kind of hard to satisfy people's special request. Because the other day I made a family traveling souvenir painting, like they climbed Mount Fuji and made a very beautiful picture. I did a painting, and they just talk about something. Here's the slope, not the summit. But I really think it's a summit mood, so I made it look like summit. What's wrong with that? But he just wanted to say that you have to indicate this is halfway, not the summit yet. It's close, but not the summit. This kind of comment, this request, just make me crazy. I said no more this kind of work. So what, people seeing the picture never had the experience with you. I just think it's good, capture the mood you achieved. Anyway, it's hard to commission. 嗯，张华振华uh, Mr. Zhenhua. Yeah, you like the line curve style, but that's a very special style exclusively used on official seals in the Tang Dynasty. So it's not very artistic for me, um, but it's very decorative. You can generate a design with an online tool. I think there's a digital. I can send you the link later, maybe if you email me. Because line curve is very mechanical. I think the computer can do that for you. The adapt to overshift is very challenged. Not every character can do that well. You know, it really depends. I prefer that's why most of the Chinese seals are in square form or rectangular. There are some rules set by some seal engraving artists. They will not do the oval, maybe, or round, because it's really depends on the character. Not every character can be adapted to round form. Okay, now I'm adding uh, the the muscles, meat or muscles, blood, to the stroke because I just concentrated on the bone structure. Now I'm working on the meat, the flesh. Just broaden the stroke. Okay. The the seal engraving art is like the it's compared to the classical Western music in the artistic realm or artistic garden, to make a metaphor. So it's very high art form. It's like the classical music. Not every artist can get there, get this far. The like playing classical music in Western art. It's you need a lot of training and so this art form is really a special place in Chinese art garden. This is a, a metaphor I read in a book by Feng Zikai. He's a modern educator, Chinese art educator, and a cartoonist, very popular. He has a very unique style and very good teacher too. Okay, it's quite a long tween, so I wish there will be no need to adjust. That's my wish. After I, imprint, make an imprint, I still have to adjust it a little bit maybe, but I wish this time I'm 90% done. This is a 1-inch seal, so the ink pad should be. Oops, I forgot where is. I should have a stirrer that make it the pads raised a little bit. And you need to put a thin book or magazine underneath it. I use a rubber pad because this is not rubber, this is stone, so you need some rubber under it. That's and you can press harder in this style to make it less grain on the background. Okay, let's see how it looks like. I was so very close to the design, just some minor change maybe. I notice this two sides should be different. So this could be a little longer, just a little, maybe. Some edge could be harder. Okay, this 3 dots is different in design, in size, and I can make maybe a little bit, but not too much. I think it's okay to look neat, to be similar, but just a little bit longer on the last dot, indicate gravity, some kind of rhythm. Okay. eraser would, yeah, exactly like this. Yeah. Okay, so this part could be a little straighter. Just adjust the width of some strokes. Okay, let me make another. Okay, let me use a newer ink. I got my stir. Okay, I think I'm done, and next is to sign it. And I have special rule to sign, that it's always on the left side. supposedly, if I don't make a mistake. So this would be the orientation mark. Actually, it indicates which side is up. So on the left side is my signature. I will do it right now. I use Chinese years, zodiac year for the date. So it's still the year of the pig. It's my birth year. You know my age from this, right? I'm a pig. And my Chinese name. Li Xiao. Xiao Hui. You notice the way I carve is from top down. From the bottom up, not from the top down. It's the opposite of writing. Anyway. Okay, this is my signature. Now I'm going to do the official imprint. Here in my collection book. This is the last seal I did for Hernandez, Dr. Hernandez. And this one, so for this one I would use, let me get some paper towel here. I use my fingertip to load the ink so it would not get extra ink on it. You don't have to do this, but this is a secret way to do it. I learned from an artist in Nanjing University, Professor Rao Wei. She did this after Gombi painting class. I think this may be the professional artist's choice if you don't want to make a mess on their treasurable work. So you can load the ink with your fingertip. Then just clean your hand with tissue and paper towel. We just put it's not leveled, so it's a little bit challenging. Okay. So we got 2 pages. Signature on the left. press hard and lift gently. Okay. That's on rice paper. And on computer paper, you can do the same. Oops, where's my pad? Oh, here, I didn't put the pad on. That's why it's kind of soft. That's okay. I have this felt, and it's maybe too soft. Then you can just load like that. Just check for missing spot. If not, sometimes you got like a fiber in it. That's common, but try to avoid that so you don't press too hard into the paste. And use a stirrer to smooth it out every time if there's a need. Okay. Just signature on the left. Easy. Yeah. The marker pen got some black in it, but gradually will. I would do some wash with soup later. See if I can remove all that. Maybe acetone will do that as well. Just be careful with acetone on the table because it might destroy your furniture. See that removes everything. Acetone is a nail polish remover. It removes the residual of the ink. But gradually it will disappear. If any, the design, it's not that much, but there's a little dark there. You can see. Okay. Maybe I should wash the seal with acetone every time I deliver. Sometimes there's a not not even, but it looks very completely acceptable for me. It's a stamp, it's not a digital stamp. If you want, you can make digital stamps on your documents, so they always look the same. But with hand stamp, it will vary from each imprint. I don't have to blur moisture. Oops, too much. I feel this is like too smooshy there. So I would clean the seal each time I make it, and redo the loading so it's not overload. But it's still okay, some stroke is thinner. Some stroke is normal. That's part of the art of this. Okay. One more. This is a light pressure one. So you got uh, compared to this one, you can see the difference. This one is it's broader and this is thinner, wider and thinner. I think a thinner one is preferred, so you should press harder always. This is an ink I recently opened from a refill, so it's a little more oily than the set we sell. Sometimes we got complaints for too dry. Never got complaints for too wet for some reason. You don't have to use your hand. I just want to make a good copy for myself and for the client. For printing, I will always use the digital design you already get. For if you use this to print, you have to make a number of them and then choose which one is. There's no perfect one, maybe. To have it's a matter of preference. Yeah, this one's near perfect, I think. It's all even. But it's not solid background, That's totally normal. You cannot really, if you want make it really solid, it will make the stroke thinner. Let me try one more. Oh, actually, this is the trick. You put two layers together, you make two cards. Let's make the support a little firmer. Okay. Yes. So you see, I just found that if you use two layers of paper together on the pad, it may be easier to get even because the paper will not wrap, Okay. Every time I learn from experience. If you know how to make a perfect stem, share with us. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy holidays. And see you until next time. Bye bye.